In the winter of 1398, 100,000 prisoners knelt before the gates of Delhi. Timur's generals turned to him and asked, "What shall we do with them?" Timur did not even think. "Kill them all," he said. 100,000 people lost their lives with a single order, in a single day. Was this man a barbarian? A genius? Write what you think in the comments. This is the story of Emir Timur, a statesman who conquered half the world with his limping leg, who spread fear everywhere he went, but who also transformed Samarkand into the most beautiful city in the world. Child of the Steppe. Historically, Timur was born on April 8, 1336, in the city of Kesh, within the borders of present-day Uzbekistan. His father, Taragai, was the leader of a small Turco-Mongol tribe and a local landowner. His mother was Tekina Khatun. Timur claimed to be descended from Genghis Khan. This claim was disputed, but it mattered to Timur, because the legacy of Genghis Khan was still the greatest source of legitimacy in Central Asia. From childhood, Timur showed himself to be an extraordinary individual. He learned to ride horses, shoot arrows, and wield a sword far earlier than other children. But he also played chess for hours at a time, until he had crushed his opponents. An event he experienced in his youth shaped his entire life. In his 20s, he was caught stealing a flock of sheep. While trying to escape, he was struck by arrows. One arrow severed 2 fingers from his right hand. Another lodged in his right leg and left him lame for life. This wound hardened him even further. His enemies called him Timurid Leng, Timur the Lame. The Western world came to know him as Tamerlane, but he never liked that nickname. Power born from chaos. Timur's youth coincided with one of the most chaotic periods in Central Asia. The Chagatai Khanate had fragmented. Small tribes were fighting each other. Every day, new alliances were formed and broken. Timur turned this chaos into opportunity. First, he formed an alliance with Hussein, the powerful emir of Samarkand. Together they crushed rival tribes one by one, but alliances for Timur were temporary arrangements. In 1370, he eliminated Hussein as well and became the sole ruler of Samarkand. He was 34 years old, and he was just getting started. Timur never proclaimed himself Khan, because the title of Khan belonged only to those descended from Genghis Khan. Instead, he used the title Emir. But everyone knew the truth. The man sitting on the throne of Samarkand, whatever title he bore, was the most powerful man in the world. Conquest, the empire of fear. Timur's strategy of conquest resembled no commander who had come before him. Before capturing a city, he always gave it one chance: surrender, pay tribute, submit. Cities that surrendered were left unharmed, but the suffering he inflicted upon cities that resisted went down in history as terror. In 1381, the Iranian city of Herat resisted. Timur took the city and ordered his men to each bring him 100 heads from the population. The soldiers carried out this order to the letter. Towers were built from the severed heads. These towers of skulls became Timur's signature. He built them everywhere he went. Why? Because it worked. The next city, not wishing to share Herat's fate, would usually surrender without resistance. In 1387, an uprising broke out in Isfahan. While Timur's soldiers were in the city, the people revolted and killed hundreds of Timur's men. Timur's response was merciless. He ordered each district of the city to deliver a set number of heads, 70,000 heads in total. All were arranged into towers. In 1398, he marched on India. The Delhi Sultanate was in decline. Timur saw this weakness and moved. When he reached the gates of Delhi, he had 100,000 Hindu prisoners before him. His generals told him these prisoners could cause trouble during the battle. Timur answered with a single word: kill them. 100,000 people lost their lives that day. The next day, Timur entered Delhi. He pillaged the city, took its riches, and returned. Delhi could not recover from this destruction for 100 years. Samarkand, Blood and Beauty. Herein lay Timur's greatest paradox. He burned and destroyed everywhere he went, yet transformed Samarkand into the most beautiful city in the world. From the lands he conquered, he brought the finest architects, the finest craftsmen, the finest scientists to Samarkand. Samarkand was transformed into a world capital. Magnificent mosques, madrasas, and palaces were built. The Gur-e-Amir Mausoleum, that magnificent structure which still stands today, is one of Timur's greatest architectural legacies. Timur was also intelligent and curious. He played chess. He read history. He knew Persian and Turkish. He spent hours in conversation with the greatest thinkers of the era, such as Ibn Khaldun. Ibn Khaldun recounted his meeting with Timur as follows. I have never seen a ruler with such a sharp mind so open to knowledge, but I have also never seen a man so ruthless. Bayezid the Thunderbolt, the greatest confrontation in history. In 1402, history witnessed a reckoning between two colossal powers. On one side, the Ottoman Emperor Bayezid I, known as the Thunderbolt. On the other, Emir Timur. Bayezid had reached the gates of Europe, besieged Constantinople, and brought crusader armies to their knees. He did not take Timur seriously. In his letters, he humiliated him. In one letter to Timur, he wrote, "Your army is nothing but a rabble of bandits." Timur read this letter and laughed. In 1402, two armies came face to face near Ankara, the Battle of Ankara. Timur's army drove war elephants onto the battlefield. The Ottoman army broke apart. Bayezid was surrounded amidst his own forces. The Ottoman emperor was brought before Timur as a prisoner. What was done to Bayezid is still debated among historians. According to one account, Timur locked him in a cage and used him as a footstool. Other accounts say Timur treated him with respect. Whatever the truth, Bayezid died in captivity a few months later. This victory shook Europe. The conquest of Constantinople was delayed by 50 years. The Ottoman Empire entered a deep crisis. The final campaign toward China. Timur's appetite never waned. When he reached the age of 70, he turned his eyes eastward toward China. He was going to conquer the Ming dynasty. In 1404, he set out with a massive army, but winter came unexpectedly harsh. The army pressed on nevertheless. Timur fell ill. On February 18th, 1405, in the city of Otrar, within the borders of present-day Kazakhstan, he died at the age of 70. He never completed the China campaign. His body was brought to Samarkand and interred in the Guri-Amir mausoleum he had commissioned. On his tombstone these words were engraved, "When I rise from here, the world shall tremble." The curse, the open tomb. In 1941, Soviet archaeologists opened Timur's tomb. On the tombstone was the following warning, "Whoever opens this tomb shall unleash a disaster greater than mine." The Soviets disregarded this warning. The tomb was opened on June 19, 1941. 3 days later, on June 22, 1941, Nazi Germany attacked the Soviet Union. The bloodiest front of the Second World War had begun. A coincidence? Perhaps. But this story is still told to this day. The legacy, blood, and civilization. Timur's legacy is one of history's most complex. On one hand, he is estimated to have been responsible for the deaths of nearly 17 million people. Everywhere he went, cities were reduced to rubble. Civilizations were destroyed. On the other hand, Samarkand during his era became the most brilliant cultural center of the Islamic world. His descendants, the Mughals, established a magnificent civilization in India. The Taj Mahal is the legacy of Timur's descendants, great or barbarian. It is impossible to define Timur in a single word, because he was one of the most complex figures history has ever seen. With his limping leg, He conquered half the world. He erected towers of skulls, yet also built libraries. He burned cities, yet also protected the greatest architects. Emir Timur was born in a small town in Central Asia, the child of a modest family. With a lame leg and 2 severed fingers, he built one of the greatest land empires the world has ever seen, and when he died, he left behind both fear and beauty. So do you think Emir Timur was one of history's greatest conquerors or one of its greatest barbarians? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.